Hey everybody, it's tequila time. I had a subscriber and left a comment in one of my last videos. He said, "Hey, why don't you put this one against that one and see which one you like better? And if you only have one, which one of the two?" Well, that's a hard question. So the tequilas I'm forgetting the word. The tequilas he's talking about that he requested, which I have them, so it's no big deal, is Viva Mexico, Tahona Blanco, and Lost Lore, Valle's Blanco. They're both 96 proof. We're going to talk about the differences and the similarities between the two. Biggest difference is where the agaves come from. So we know the Valle's comes from west of Guadalajara, because that's the valley. And then for the Viva Mexico Tahona, they're Los Altos, so they're Highlands agave. So big difference there. Other than that, of course, let's see. They're both 96 proof. They're both brick oven cooked. The Valle's is roller mill macerated, where the other one, of course, is a Tahona. The Lost Lore Valle's is fermented in stainless steel. The Tahona is in wood vats. Let's see. The stainless steel gets the Mozart method, the classical music, where the Tahona doesn't. The Lost Lore gets champagne yeast, where the Tahona is open air spontaneous fermentation. They're both done in copper pot stills, and they're both done with deep well water, and they're both done at 1414. 1414. So, they're made at the same place. They use the same ovens, they use the same copper stills, they use the same water. Otherwise, they're completely different. So, let's pour these up. We're going to do that, and then I have another pair that I wanted to do side by side. It's not quite as fair because they're not the same proof. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them while I am standing here. One is my tried and true favorite from G4, the G4 Madera. This happens to be the 2004 edition. This is at 90 proof. This is made at La Tahona. I'll get it. No. Anyway. This is made of of course, this is made where all G4 is made, where Volan's is made, where a couple other ones used to be made. This is really good. Of course, it's Highlands. It's Los Altos. I have notes so I don't forget. So it's Los Altos agaves, Tahona, wood, open. So. Wood fermentation tanks, natural. I can't read my writing from yesterday. Let's see, Los Altos, brick ovens, Tahona, wooden vats, copper pot stills, deep well and spring water, and I believe it said natural open air fermentation. Where it's Challenger is my newest bottle. This showed up yesterday. This is Viva Mexico, a Madera, and a Madera. The difference is this is 108 proof. The G4 is 90. The Viva Mexico Madera is, of course, 108 proof. It uses Los Altos agaves, brick ovens. It's done with a roller mill, but it's fermented in wood tanks, using the Mozart method, open air fermentation, copper pot stills, deep well water, and it is rested in a barrel. So, this has come around a few times about barrel resting a Blanco. If it's less than 2 months, it's still considered a Blanco. Anything over that would be a reposado. And so, I have several tequilas on my shelf that are rested in wood before bottling. The Manuscrito Cuento Corto short story, it's done that way. Tierra de Ensueño, it's done that way. Trying to think what other one, other than the next one I'm going to bring up. And I've had some other ones that have. I believe there was a... that name just escaped me. Okay, but the one that I didn't know, and I just recently found out, is that all Tecolino tequilas are rested in wood before bottling. From their mixto up to their Gran Reserva. They all come off the still, they go into barrels, they rest for 3 weeks, and then are bottled or barreled for aging. So, I don't think Ensueño was the first one, because they've been doing it all along. I'm not going to say since 1959, but we could ask Tony and find out. He said they've always rested them in barrels before bottling. I think it's partially because the bottling plant is not in Tequila; it's in Guadalajara. All the tequila is made in Tequila, but it's then shipped to Guadalajara. Whether it's done in barrels, that's where it gets its 3-week aging, or whether it's transported in stainless steel and then put into wooden barrels and rested and then bottled, or into other barrels and then. So it all gets rested. So barrel resting is not new. It's been going around a while. I'm sure there's probably some other ones that we don't hear about. And so, or I don't know about, and I don't know everything. But let's get to tasting some tequila. So we're going to start with Killer Kev's versus Lost Lore versus Viva Mexico. I'm going to keep the bottles on each side and the glasses on each side. So I'm going to use CTC tequila glasses for this one. And then we're going to switch to Rydell style stemmed glass for the Maderas. So pour some tequila in here. That's good. Yeah, it was funny. I went to Tequila, went through the tour at Tecolino. They said nothing about barrel resting. Tony brought it up in Mary Carmen's Zoom just recently. I was like, what? That was new to me. So, I'm going to give the master the first sip because it's his distillery. We go with his first. I'm sure Sergio would agree. I don't know. Oh, that's good. Cooked agave. Looks like a citrus. I'm getting all that. Okay. For sure. Let's try the Lost Lore. Get the cooked agave. And then I'm getting a vegetal note. In my... what is vegetal? That's hard to define. I think in some ways it's olive. It's a little olive brinish to that. I mean, as far as on the nose, it's not fruit. It's not floral. It's something else, and I tend to put vegetal in there. I'm not the only one that does it because I'm not really sure what that vegetal is. Is it vegetables? Not necessarily. Is it artichokes? Is it, if it was fruit, and whether it's a citrus, or whether it's mango or something to that nature. That's not it. It's not sweet smelling. It's not zesty. It is definitely vegetal. Kind of, mix of broccoli and Brussels sprout or asparagus with olives from brine, because you get a little bit of that. So that's what I got on the aromas. I got a citrus for the Viva Mexico Tahona, and I get a vegetal. These are the differences between the two. Both get sweet agave on the nose. Let's give the Tahona a little taste. That's good. Cooked agave, citrus, almost orange. On the mid palate, get a little bit of heat. Of course, it's 96 proof, and this is my first drink of tequila tonight. And I get a little. Let's wait for the second sip, because I can't quite place that finish. The finish is nice. It coated the mouth real well. It's still going. It's lighter, but it's going. Almost an anise. And if you don't know what anise is, I mean, there's star anise. That's a spice that we use. Maybe like a little bit of black licorice. Not real strong, but there. It's enjoyable. There's some heat there from the proof. But that was first sip. We go for second sip. And then we'll move on. Again, same aroma notes that I got before. Cooked agave and citrus. Pepper. Little black pepper. Yeah. That's what's on the finish. So, cooked agave, citrus, little black pepper, maybe a little touch of anise. Really good. I get the tingling sensation, of course, from the alcohol. But overall, I've got some heat right up here in the back of the throat, in the tongue. But no major alcohol burning. It's got some heat to it. I mean, it's almost 100 proof. But delicious. Every day. So, it's contender from NOM 1414. Oh, same place as it's from. Except we know that the agaves come from somewhere else. So we know that they come from the valleys. I believe it's in Michoacan, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. You can tell me It's from where Arturo's family was from. It took quite a bit to get agaves from there all the way to Arandas. It's a pretty good trip. And to keep them, for not a better word, fresh. So ready for getting ready for all the cooking and milling and everything that it's going to take to get them to that point. So let's give this another smell and then a taste. This is Los Lore Valles. 96 proof. Cooked agave. And that vegetal note. A little minerality. Okay. Get through these tequila burps. Let's give her a taste. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Cooked agave everywhere. that vegetal, that olive note, the brininess. Then you get a little pepper on the back. It's definitely more peppery, which is common with Valle agaves. You know, if you don't know the difference about the terroir in Jalisco, you have the valleys area and you have the Los Altos area. Los Altos is iron-rich soil. It's kind of red, like Alabama clay, Georgia clay, Oklahoma red dirt. It's that, but it's high iron content. But then you go on the other side of Guadalajara, you're getting more effect from the volcano. You have blacker soil. It's volcanic soil. It's richer in other nutrients than what they get in up in the highlands. So you're going to get some differences, and then state by state, you're going to get differences due to how much rain they get, what minerality they have in the soil, the content of it. All these other variables apply towards the terroir of the agaves, which then imparts into the tequila. So with the difference between the Los Lor Valles and the Viva Mexico Tahona, if I was going to pick one, I'm going to only pick one. Wow, it's tough, because I enjoy these because they're that different. I enjoy them both. But on this taste test, if I were to pick one, it's probably going to be... Sorry, Arturo. It's going to be the Tahona from Viva Mexico. I like the citrus note on the palate. Again, proof is the same. They're both delicious tequilas. I wouldn't pass either one of them up if somebody gave me a drink of one. They're both that good. I would pass up many other things before I would pass up these. Delicious tequilas. But we have to keep moving. Again, delicious. Yeah. Not a fair taste test. So it's all your fault, Killer Cav. This is all your fault. It was not a fair comparison. Not when you have the agaves from two different locations. If you were to do something similar, then that would be more of a fair versus. They're both good. Let's see. The Viva Tahona got a 90 on Agave Matchmaker, where the Valley's got an 89. Now, 2 points, that's not that big a difference. High 80s might as well be 90. There's going to be, like I said, little subtle differences that set them apart. That's it. I feel very fortunate to be able to do this. I don't do this for a living. I have a real full-time job. This is my fun hobby thing, is to acquire tequilas, to taste them, share them with my friends. And I feel very lucky, because I live lucky, to do this. I have the financial that I can do. I don't get to do everything I want to do. I have to live within budgets, but I get chances and opportunities to get bottles and to try bottles and be able to purchase bottles at a price that is not crazy. Hurts the budget, can't pay the electric bill. Nah, none of that happens. But we're going to move on because we have Maderas to try. And we're going to versus them against each other. So we're going to go with my tried and true Madera at G4 Blanco at 90 proof. We're going to pour this this glass here. And I just recently purchased a replacement for this bottle. And it's a 2005 version. So, I'm going to be drinking more of this one. So I can get to open the new one. And you can see it up there on the top shelf. Had a great visit to, if you're in the Kansas City area, there's like a couple Mecca places to go try. There's lots of good liquor stores to go try. But Bubbles is probably the number one for me in Parkville as far as, tequila goes. Number two, without dealing with big box stores, because I'm not going to say I don't like big box stores, but I prefer to not use them unless necessary. I've gotten some nice bottles, don't get me wrong, from one of the big box store in this area. It used to be Lucas Liquors, but it's no longer Lucas Liquors. It's Total Wine. And, they've got some good things to offer, but they don't have enough of this to offer. I have more tequila on my shelf than additive-free tequila than most Total Wines have on their shelves. That's no joke. I'm pretty sure anybody that lives in this area would agree with me. They don't carry this. I mean, they have a bottle here, a bottle there. Cascaween, all they offer is the Tahona Blanco and the Plata 48. I think they're trying to get the square bottles in, but they don't. Fortaleza, nothing. Ocho, they do the regular Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Nothing else. El Tesoro, that's different. They carry the Blanco, they'll carry the Reposado, they'll carry the Añejo, and they'll carry maybe extra Añejo, maybe a special anniversary edition, but that's about it. G4, Blanco, Repo, the Madera, and maybe a high proof. Occasionally you'll see an Añejo or an extra Añejo, but not very often. El Tequilino, they carry a little bit. They don't carry the full line. And sometimes it's like somebody gets all the Añejo and somebody gets all the Reposado, and they split the Blanco, and they have the Mixto on shelf. And sometimes they'll have the original Reposado on shelf. But I mean, those are just few and far between. Valor's maybe on the shelf. You're more likely to find a Volans than find a Valor. Let's see. Lost Lore, they have some. They won't carry the whole line. Cascanes, they'll carry the whole line or pretty close to the whole line. But you got to remember, Cascanes is not a budget brand at all. So you have to be, and if you are into higher proof tequilas, you better have a pretty good budget, because with Cascanes, those basically all their lineup is $100 and up. Here, I don't know what it is anywhere else, but they'll have a little bit of Sete Leguas. They'll have some Yayo. I think 30-30 is starting to come around a little bit more, but and Siempre, and that all depends on where you're at, what they have on the shelf. So I mean, it's a rough market, because otherwise it's their Spirits Direct brand or what is classified as bottom shelfers. Your Jose Cuervo, your not Cascanes, Sauza, Hornitos, Montezuma. Oh my God. They got plenty of those on the shelf, and all the Spirits Direct ones. Well, the Spirits Direct ones, they've got a couple that are additive free. A couple. They're trying to put more, but everybody likes the sweet stuff. If you're a connoisseur of tequila, you don't like the sweet stuff. You're looking for it to be naturally sweet from the cooked agave. you want to taste the cooked agave. And again, if you've never tasted cooked agave, you want to find out what it tastes like. This bottle is sold online, and it's also sold at Sip Tequila. It might be sold at Old Town in San Diego. The Sip Tequila and Old Town are both online. This is agave syrup, artisanal pure agave syrup. This bottle is not brown. If you can see right by the cap, it is clear. This is what the juice coming out of either the drains in the brick oven or out of the open end of a autoclave, running down through a drain. They'll strain it off. This is that juice. This is wow. If you want to taste it, buy. And this is not all that expensive. This is not like buying a bottle of artisanal tequila. I think I paid $11 for it. This is what, when somebody asks, well, what does cooked agave taste like? This will be what I will show them. This is what I will let them taste. It's delicious. It's not exactly, because it's kind of, I don't say it's blended, but it's more concentrated than what you would normally get out of a cooked agave plant. So it's a little stronger in flavor. You can probably water it down a little bit, but then you're going to have to really drink it. Maybe do a little shot of it. This gives you that flavor. So we poured the G4. Let's pour the Viva Mexico Madera, my newest bottle. So this will be released at Friday at noon for all of those. And that evening, I will be going to a small bottle share with some friends that I'm really looking forward to. And so the Madera is going to come with me. The Lost Lord Valleys will come with me. I've got a couple other on the shelf that I'm going to take with me. Really, really, really looking forward to doing the little bottle share with some friends. So, G4 Madera. Let's give it a nose. So I'm getting the cooked agave, I'm not getting any fruit or even a floral, but I am getting a little pepper and maybe a vegetal note. It smells good. So let's go to the Viva Mexico. I'm getting cooked agave. It's a little more subdued on the nose, even though it's at a higher proof. I'm getting a little bit of a floral note on it. So, between these two, both Los Altos brick ovens, one's roller mill, one's Tahona. Now, the Tahona at G4 is not a big stone. It's Felipe's Frankenstein. It is a steamroller wheel that has studs put on it, so it only crushes the agave down to a certain measurement. And it's just, they pile up the shredded stuff and they just roll it back and forth, till they then flip it over and they do it again. They do it till they get what the juice out of it that they feel they can deal with. So it's a little different. You're not going to get that stone minerality out of it that you would get maybe off of a regular Tahona stone. But they're both done in copper. They're one, of course, the Viva Mexico gets the Mozart method. The G4 has a combination of deep well water and natural spring water. So that's going to change the flavor profile versus just deep well water that we get from the Viva Mexico Madera. Left first, so G4 Madera. Yeah, cooked agave, some pepper, a little vegetable. That is so good. It's cooked agave with olive brine and some pepper on the back. Sweet all the way through. Sweet, not like syrup. Sweet like like a ripe. This is not. I'm not describing a flavor. I'm trying to get that sweet in your brain. When you taste a sweet, ripe strawberry, the sweetness is in your mouth, other than the strawberry flavor. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about sweet. It's not bitter. It's not sour. It's sweet. It's not a neutral spirit. It has some character to it. Tequila has so many different flavor profiles. And it's part of it is your palate, part of it is the environment, part of it is the environment where it's made. It's all back to terroir, and it will affect its flavor. That is delicious. We're just doing another sip. That's just good. 90 proof. Literally, sit down with a bottle of that and some snacks and some friends and just finish off the whole bottle. No problem. No problem. Especially neat. That's a good bottle for that. It's not overly high proof. It's just it's above 80. It gives it a little more flavor with that little bit more proof point to it. So it's delicious. You get a little pepper on the back, and that's okay. But that's just part of G4. And I had somebody ask me, well, what other G4 do you like? I like their añejo, extra añejo into that category. And the two that this is bad, because the only two I've ever tried were Maderas that were aged that long. Those were, special editions. I got to try some. I have never owned a bottle of that, so don't go there. I don't have that kind of disposable cash. My most expensive bottle that I was gifted, see, turning it around, was a Nelson Soro extra añejo. It was their 85th anniversary, and that was a bottle. It was a gift bottle from my sister and brother-in-law. Very delicious. Very has lots of barrel, and because it was rested in Booker's bourbon barrels, it's got a little bit of it's got a bourbon. It's a little bourbony. I mean, it's not directly bourbon. It's the wood from the barrel, but very delicious, and it is definitely a dessert tequila. Something you would have after dinner. You could have been drinking a Blanco all night long with some water, or with margaritas or palomas with dinner, and then you want to sit down and just relax and kick back, pour a little more tequila, and go with something that's in the añejo or extra añejo category, and just sit and sip it and enjoy it and just take it all in and just let it savor it in your mouth. Those are great. Let's get back to our test. So, Viva, Mexico, Madera. Oh, wow. Cooked agave. Like I said, I get a floral note on this. No pepper. That's good. Let's give her a try. Coated in the mouth, nice. That kind of proof, it just instantly dries out the mouth. floral. It's beautiful. It's just nice. Get a little pepper on the back end, but the viscosity is higher. It's thicker in the Viva Mexico than it is in the G4. I get a little pepper on the back, but I still have coating in the back of the throat. It's still there. So the finish is longer on the Viva Mexico Madera than the G4. If I was going to pick right now, before I take my second sip of the Viva, I'm going to pick the Viva. It is a better tasting Madera overall. Still, both are great tequilas. Value. Ooh. The Viva Mexico Madera. I got it from Sip Tequila for $79.99 before shipping, and I got my recent bottle of G4 Madera. I think it was at $59.99. I'm not sure that's what I paid for it, but that was the price on the shelf. They did have it on sale. That might have been the regular price. But anyway, value is about the same right now with Madera. With the Viva Mexico Madera is new. I believe, don't quote me, that the Madera, just like their Tahona, are going to be standard shelf products from Viva Mexico to add to the regular Blanco, Repo, and Yeho on the shelf of Viva Mexico. So great stuff. I'm still going to pick the Viva Mexico Madera over. Just that's the way my palate's running this evening. So love it. Let's see. I don't have anything else, but it was a fun tasting versus that, and we'll do it again. I have plenty of versus, and I'm going to, when I do them, I'm looking at what are the materials, how are they made, so my next one will probably be Manuscrito short story versus Terra de Ensueño. And here's the thing. They're made by the same master distiller. Terra de Ensueño has two master distillers, Oscar Vasquez and Sergio Cruz. Well, Oscar is the only on the Manuscrito, and I think there's lessons that he learned making that, and it is a different animal than everything else Manuscrito puts out. So I'm looking forward to getting more of the regular release bottles and putting it on my shelf. But it looks like I gotta make some room, folks. So we've got to empty some stuff out and move some stuff around, and so we can make room for some more bottles. I like keeping them in some kind of nom order, but I don't have unlimited shelf space. Though I have lots of shelf space, it's kind of full. Last count I was at with everything when I've actually polished off a couple bottles recently. Why was it 94? Which is not a huge amount by some folks that I know. But for me and for most folks, that's quite a few. Every time I show the picture of those shells, they're like, dude. It's like, well, you got to try the tequila from all over tequila land because they're all different. And nobody really believes me that much. I mean, they do. Some of them do. Once I start explaining why, they're like, oh, okay, we get it now. Because, it's like, I'll use bourbon as an example. Bourbon in Kentucky is different than bourbon or Tennessee whiskey in Tennessee versus bourbon out of Missouri or bourbon out of Indiana or bourbon out of Ohio or bourbon out of New York, so on and so, or out of Texas. Now, we don't even include Texas into that because that doesn't apply. Texas whiskey is different than anything else around. I am not a big Texas not Texas whiskey aficionado, especially when it comes to bourbon. I do enjoy a bourbon occasionally, and my tastes in bourbon are upper. kind of like my tequilas. I think maybe that's what's... I don't have bottom shelfer bourbons and whiskeys. Probably the lowest on mine, and I mean lowest, would be a Larceny and a Knob Creek. I've got some local brands, some craft brands that I have on my shelf. Woodhead is one of those. If you're from Missouri and you don't know who Woodhead is, you need to look it up. And if you want to try a bourbon that is very unique in character, man, that's the place to go. Though I do like my Ben Holiday. So, we're sticking with tequila, and I really enjoy this. I have a possible new bottle coming. I don't know when, but we're going to do some more head-to-head tasting with what I have on the shelf. I'll come up with this, and then I'll come up with that, and we'll come up with something else. We're just going to work our way around the shelves and see what we come up with. So, doesn't matter. I got 4 glasses in front of me. Drink good tequila. It'll be good to you. Salud. Till we see you next time. Adios.